Achtung, Schnuckies. Being your favorite lecturer, I have made an overview for assignment 1, or better to say an outline of assignment 1. You can see here you need a cover page because we are dealing with a report. Please just change everything that is in yellow. These are obviously details that pertain to me and not to you. That also means that your header must be changed. Distinction. This is the outline in your table of content of how your assignment should look like. Remember, it is a report. Therefore, you want to have an introduction and a conclusion, and you also want to point out the different parts of your report. Of course, there are the needs, attitude change, and appeals to consistency on the emotional side. Then we have the rational factors of persuasive messages, evidence, and reasoning. And lastly, we have our propaganda techniques. There are 3 of them. I wouldn't subdivide it further. Distinction. Furthermore, you have a reference list. In this case, you do not have to offer a number for your reference list. It is usually numberless. And then, very importantly, you will have to attach the artifacts of your particular adverts that you have chosen. Please believe me, you do not have to use newspaper advertisements. I'm sure it was a typo. You can use online advertisements. You can use magazine advertisements, whatever you like. You can even use YouTube advertisements, in which case you would just have to provide a screenshot with the particular reference. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This is how your table of content looks like, and your adverts must be nicely attached under appendices, which are not numbered, but they're actually lettered. And then you obviously have to change here the title of your adverts as well. Distinction. So having a look in your introduction, you can see I've given you great support in terms of what you have to do. Please know that this is an outline example. You are not allowed to use my wording. You are not allowed to use my example. Okay, but I just wanted you to get into the mood of how you should approach this particular task. The 10 items that you have to showcase in your adverts should be discussed in detail. So here I have a little example. When persuading large audiences, persuaders look to appeal to the recipient's needs. Various scholars, amongst them Packard, you have to provide a reference here, Maslow, another reference there, and Herzog, a reference here, give need categories that are typically applied in advertising. So I'm just orientating the reader that I'm now talking about needs in this particular section. One of the need appeals that is often used in adverts is affirmation of value. Here I make a proper reference to Packard. The researcher has sourced an advert by L'Oreal, see Appendix A. So you are pointing the reader to your artifact. As I said, this is just an example, so I don't have a L'Oreal artifact, but if I go down, there should be a L'Oreal artifact right here. Going back up, sorry. The researcher has sourced an advert by L'Oreal, see Appendix A. L'Oreal's slogan is "Because you're worth it," which points towards L'Oreal's quest to make women feel better about themselves and them realizing their worth, attractiveness, and value. Packard explains that the need for affirmation targets people's urge to feel significant, visible, and important. The researcher deems, researcher in this case is me, L'Oreal's use of their popular slogan as effective as it embodies the modern-day woman who is confident enough to point out her worth. So what I'm trying to get you to do, in the first part of your answer per item, what you want to make sure of is that the reader knows what you are talking about. So you are identifying the need as well as the advert. Okay, that's how you start every discussion, but obviously in different words. Okay, then you are describing what you see in the advert. Wait 1 second. Here we go. You decide what you see in the advert in terms of how the need is portrayed or how the propaganda technique is portrayed, and you're giving me a nice thick description of that. And you're finishing off every single section with an evaluation. Remember, you're giving a report about advertising or persuasive techniques. So I want to have some sort of an evaluation. Is this a good use of the appeal? Is it not a good use? Does it elevate the advert? Does it hit a nerve with the audience? I want a nicely grounded evaluation. And basically you do that with every single item. You can see I have another 2 paragraphs available to you because you have to make reference to 3 needs. Rather use Packard, not Maslow. There's more to say about Packard than there is about Maslow. Distinction. Attitude change. Remember we said that attitudes are our inclinations toward a topic. So I need you to find an advertisement that appeals to your attitudes and hopefully changes them or strengthens them so that you are more likely to follow through with something. Just imagine, and once again, you are not to use this example, an SPCA advert that asks you to adopt a puppy or asks you to adopt an animal, a pet. Here we go. They would probably try and change your advert by saying things like, rejects also need a home, or something to that extent. Distinction. Appeals to consistency, as you know, have to do with advertisers and persuaders exploiting your imbalance or introducing an imbalance in your life that the product or the service can fix. Once again, find a nice advert and apply the structure that I've given you. Introduction of the consistency need, then a description of the advert, and lastly an evaluation of the advert and the appeal. Distinction. Moving on to our rational factors, this is pretty easy. Evidence, of course, you know, has all to do with the proof that is being given. It can be emotional proof, it can be factual proof, it can be statistics. So have a look out for adverts like these. Reasoning relates to problem solution, cause to effect, criterion to application. I want you to showcase the reasoning structure that is applied in an advert. And just to put you on the right track, many adverts actually use a cause to effect or problem solution structure. Is your kitchen always dirty? Problem. Then use Meister proper, sorry, I don't know what the English word is for that, in order to get it clean. So the product, in this case Handy Andy or whatever the equivalent of Meister proper is, will help you out with your problem. Okay, that would be a reasoning structure. Once again, do not use my example. Distinction. The propaganda techniques, 3 of them have to be applied. Please engage with them before you actually apply them. If you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to go wrong. Especially when it comes to transfer and testimonial. I need you to pay very particular attention because the differentiation is so slight. Distinction. Finish off your report with a lovely, juicy conclusion. What I mean by that is pick up some of these appeals to rationality, to needs, to consistency, and then give me an overall rating, okay? Or give me an overall conclusion to how advertisers and persuaders actually use these techniques. Of course, a word count cannot be missed. Please make sure that you are sticking within the 1,500 to 2,000 word limit. This excludes your reference list.
Proofread, for goodness sake!
You can see my reference list. How awesome am I? I've already given you the reference for your book, but please, you need to add other academic sources in your discussion of these techniques, and you of course need to add your 5 sources for your adverts. I've given you one here. Just to show you how to do it, if you're looking at an advert for Clairol, which is a hair color advert, you are starting off with the actual advertiser name over here, obviously your year of when the advert was brought out and published, the publication that you're finding it in this case it would be a magazine called Sari. This is the edition, the volume and the page number, as I say here, and then you just have a full stop and you're done. That's how easy it is to reference an advert. If you're unsure, UNISA has a wonderful referencing guide where you just have to look up how things are done. They really are catering to every eventuality. It can be an online advert with an author. It can be a YouTube video without an author. So everything that you could possibly use, you will find on the online referencing guide by UNISA. Distinction. Last thing, we have to, of course, have our appendices attached. Appendix A, remember, is the Clairol advert. I have an in-text reference, Clairol, 1955, page 19, and I actually have the artifact over there. I need you to provide an artifact. If you are getting something out of a newspaper, take a screenshot and then reference the newspaper. If you are opting for YouTube video advertising, which I would like you not to do, I would love you to stay within print. It's just easier for us markers. Then you have to please take a screenshot and insert it here with the right reference as well. Okay, you should have 5 appendices all in all. Appendix B, Appendix C, name them all. And please make sure that one of your adverts is indeed a party political advert from South Africa, not the United States. I don't want to have any Trump, Republican or Democratic adverts. Distinction. And yes, guys, this is it. This is your outline. I will make it available to you and you can basically just enter your content. And don't forget, not my examples, not my wording, just the structure is what you can take from this.
Proofread, for goodness sake.
I've forgotten the most important thing. Edit and proofread your work. These are take-home assessments, all of them, your assignment, your test, your exam. Do not confront us, the marker, with something that is not well edited and well thought out and just a one-shot, very lousy attempt at an assignment or a test or an exam. Nothing speaks louder than spelling mistakes that could have been avoided by spell check. Nothing speaks louder than you just sitting down and quickly putting something onto paper. You have a lot of time for these, so please do them right. And give us, the markers, a little bit of an easier time to give you the distinction and to give you good marks. Thank you. Achtung, Schnuckies!